Hello YouTube, my name's Dane Lemaitre and welcome to another Thomas the Tank Engine review. Today we'll be reviewing the Hornby Gordon. When reviewing Hornby Gordon, it was a bit of deja vu. It was a bit like reviewing the Hornby Henry again, as some things I felt were very similar when commenting. First of all, I think Gordon's a very nice loco. His face looks very similar to his television series one almost, although the eyebrows look slightly different. And so in shape-wise, I think he reminds me very much of his Railway series illustrations. There are a few things that are wrong with the locomotive, and that is that the shade of blue is far too dark, whereas, as you may remember me saying in the Hornby Edward review, the Hornby Edward's colour was a lot better. The Hornby Thomas has also been a bit too dark, whereas, as you probably know from the TV series, Thomas, Gordon and Edward are all supposed to be the same shade of blue. As I said, I think Gordon's shade of blue looks far too dark. However, some episodes and in some series, I'd say his shade of blue has looked a bit darker. But mainly, he is known for being bright blue, so I think he should be bright blue, as he's mainly been bright blue all of his life, pretty much. I think as well another disappointment is on the stripes. So it comes with the red stripes, but you've got like a bit here that's a big blue lump, a bit there it's a bit of a blue lump. And I think they should have had red stripes there as well. And there's a bit too much of a gap between them. It's like you've got a big gap there, then you've got a small bit there, and you've got a big gap there, and the stripes just don't look quite right to me. So I think that is a bit of a disappointment, unfortunately, and it is very noticeable. Black handrails, whereas Gordon's handrails were silver grey, and also his running plate here. That's you might not be able to see it as well as I can, probably because of the light, but that is actually quite dark as well. So he does look a lot darker than he should do. However, his windows, as you can see here, have been captured perfectly, all the yellow lining. However, there is a bit of a bump in his boiler there, which I think is a bit unnecessary, maybe. And his whistle doesn't quite look like his TV series model. You may also be able to tell that the wheels are a light shade of blue, and it's a shame that that wasn't used on the main body, as it is very noticeable indeed. His buffers look just like his television series model on the front, which is very impressive. We now move on to the packaging. It's a very well packaged model. I bought Gordon from Model Zone in Milton Keynes, which is now unfortunately closed down. When I was in there, I saw a Hornby Murdoch and a Hornby Gordon, and as Gordon was one that I'd wanted in my collection for ages, and as he was reduced, I decided to buy the Hornby Gordon. Sorry, Murdoch. Like I said, I'd wanted him for ages, and he was a very expensive locomotive. He was, in a lot of places I saw, he was over £100. In Model Zone, he was originally £84 and 99p. However, he was reduced to £54.99, which was the best deal I'd ever seen, and I've still not seen a better deal. It'd be interesting to hear from you, the audience, to see how much you got your Gordon for. The back of the box is also really nice. And the back of the box says it was made. The box packaging was around 2005. However, like the Hornby Edward, this Gordon model was made in 2010. And unlike some Hornby models, it is written on there. However, the font of the writing is a lot smaller than others, but he isn't as wide underneath because he's quite big mainly. Therefore, they've had to use smaller writing, but it's still on there that he was made in 2010. And it would have been around 2012 that I got this model, as Murdoch was released in 2011. And Murdoch was discontinued, I think, in around 2012. Like I said, I didn't buy Murdoch because he was over £100 in there. And as you know, last year I managed to buy Murdoch from the Northampton model shop for about £80, so a lot better. Gordon isn't loco driven, he's powered by his tender, which we'll now move on to. The tender isn't quite as good as the front part of Gordon, I'm afraid to say. The back of the tender looks nothing like the TV series models of Gordon's. As you know, in the TV series, we've seen the back of Gordon's tender many times, so I don't think it looks anything like it. And also, he's got these blue like lampine. I assume they're lampines there, which seems a bit unnecessary. Yes, it doesn't really look much like the Gordon's tender from the back. From a bird's eye view, it looks a bit more like Gordon's tender, and it's nice to have like the water tanks. I mean, there was as you saw in that picture a minute ago, there was a black bit. The water tank bit wasn't there, but nevertheless, it's still a bit of it's a nice detail. And then you've got the detail there, in the tender, and you've got the detail in the back of Gordon's cab, which you might not be able to see as well as I can. It's not painted like the Hornby Emily. I said, but I don't think the tender's quite as good. Also, you've got this blue bar here, whereas on the Hornby Edward model it was painted black and looked a lot better. Also, he's been given black wheels when his wheels aren't actually black, and the yellow looks far too dark, and it's almost transparent that you can almost see through to the blue. That sort of thing. Again, you might not be able to see it as well as I can, but it's fair. I'd say it was fairly transparentish. He also comes with these brake pipes and lampines that you can add to the model. I haven't actually added mine yet. Gordon runs very well indeed. He isn't, like I said, unfortunately he's not loco driven, but he does still run very well. I've not had any issues with him. Occasionally I've had to take his tender apart and give it a bit of an oiling, a bit of a service, but with any, I don't think you can complain, because like any locomotive that occasionally happens, and it's not like it's all the time. As I've discovered, I know friends have discovered with other locomotives, but so I've never had any problems with him, and I recommend you get the Hornby Gordon. There is a Bachmann Gordon, and overall, look-wise, even on the face, it looks a lot more accurate to the TV series model of Gordon when it was the model era, not the CGI era. But of course, I've got engines like Henry, Spencer, and Murdoch, and if you was to put the Bachmann Gordon alongside them, it would look rather odd. So I'd much rather have this one. As I was saying, when I give my scores, I have to be fair and critical. And if I had my way, I'd love to give every model a 10 out of 10, but obviously not all models are perfect. And like I said, I felt the same way when reviewing this, like with the Hornby Henry. So I felt a 9.5 out of 10 was necessary. Like I said, overall it's a good model, and I do recommend that you get it if you haven't got one. It is now discontinued, but as always in my videos, there's a link in the description, and you can contact Hornby and request they bring the Thomas range back. With the 70th birthday of the Railway series next year, it'd be really good, and also with the 30th of the TV series this year, it'd be really good if you could persuade Hornby to bring them back. I've done my bit. I think everyone else should do their bit as well. Thank you for watching. Next time will probably be the greatest review of all times, as we review 2 Great Western engines and 2 of the Great Western rolling stock. Until then, thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.